Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user CharacterAd3076. Am I the a-hole for being petty to my girlfriend's parents? I understand I've been petty and most likely the a-hole, but would still like some advice going forward. I apologize that this will be a wall of text. I'm going to try to explain the context. I, male 25, and my girlfriend, female 26, have been together for about 4.5 years now. Her and I moved in together just over 1 year ago as well. We were going to after her degree, but a falling out with her roommate led to us moving in together a year early. Our relationship has been fine. We don't argue often, support each other's separate interests, and overall living together has been quite hassle-free. The only thing that has caused minor arguments between us is that she hates confrontation. For example, she works as a supervisor part-time, and where she works, the people being hired for her to train are paid more than her. She hasn't gotten a raise of any kind in over a year, which is illegal. She refuses to bring it up to the manager or anyone at all. This is frustrating, especially since she moved into my place. She hasn't been able to afford to put anything forth. I own the place myself, including paying for our car insurance, gas, and pay all of the bills, except we go 50-50 for groceries, and it's been tough for how much I get paid because it's not a lot, but shouldn't be much longer. Anyways, her family and I have been decently close. They helped me move a couple of years ago and they helped her move in last year, and we visit them for all major holidays and visit decently often since we got together. Her family and I only don't agree on one thing, which is my religion. I am not religious, but they are quite Christian and my girlfriend is non-practicing, unknowingly to them. So whenever I go over, they are over the top on everything. My girlfriend's words, not mine. On their religion and constantly trying to force me to join them in their practices. And whenever I decline, they say things under their breath like, "Oh, we will fix you," in a half-joking manner. But we have never visited long, so it's never been too much of an issue, usually 2 to 4 hours at a time. They live around 6 hours away from us in another city. My girlfriend moved in my city around 7 years ago before we met. This is where I believe, and everyone else, that I'm being an a-hole and the current issue. We stayed at their house for the first time overnight a couple of months ago, and while there for around 6 hours, it was all going well till it got to around nighttime. They told me I should get the couch ready, and I was confused as my girlfriend has a room sizable for the both of us. So I questioned. I thought I'd just sleep with my girlfriend. And they declined, saying that our relationship wasn't at that level in their eyes. I accepted and did not want to argue, as it's their house and their rules. But I'm quite tall, 6'6", and I grew a lot of that when I was young in an incredibly short amount of time, which resulted in a lot of medical back pain and issues for my entire life, and being unable to even do the sports I used to love. So I told them I wouldn't be able to sleep on the couch, sadly, especially since it was barely bigger than a love seat. However, I would be more than okay purchasing a room at a hotel for myself or myself and my girlfriend. They also live within a couple of minutes from some hotels, so I'd most likely be able to find a room close by, and they said I was turning it into way too big of a deal and to respect their beliefs, and after a back and forth, they eventually said they give up and told me to sleep wherever I wanted and that they were not happy and went to bed themselves. I was going to purchase a hotel for myself, but my girlfriend got upset at me for attempting to do so, so I stayed on the couch, which resulted in zero sleep and my back hurting for a couple of days, but I was at least able to watch some good movies. I, nor they, brought it up the next day and we eventually left. Since then, I felt quite guilty as my girlfriend said I shouldn't have argued in their house. Now, months later, they are wondering if they could visit us and stay with us. My girlfriend and I agreed, of course, but before they arrived, I let them know that our couch wasn't quite big enough for 2 people, and they were very confused. I told them they would be sleeping on the couch, and they asked why. I told them that I felt they didn't respect our relationship to their standards, and I followed the rules under their house, so they should follow mine. They argued once again that since they are married, their relationship is more respected than ours. I told them that being married doesn't mean that for me, and if they're coming to my house, they have to follow the rules of such too. They ended up hanging up and texting my girlfriend they would not come over until I would apologize to them and was in the right mind. This led to my girlfriend and I arguing about this, but she agrees that their relationship is more respectable due to being married, and I told her that marriage isn't what grants me respect for a relationship. It's the foundation it's built on and how two people treat each other and those around them. So, should I apologize and allow them to sleep in the spare bedroom? My girlfriend believes I am being incredibly childish, petty, and unreasonable, which I definitely agree I am being petty, but I just don't feel right allowing them to do whatever they want in my house if they don't respect my relationship with their daughter. They were happy and didn't say anything about us moving in, but feel weird in us sleeping in the same bed at their house, which I found weird but also never brought up. OP, you are right, it is petty, but petty isn't always wrong. In this case, it's a form of protest because of the disrespect. The issue isn't the bed, it's what it represents, being treated like a second-class partner. But OP, I don't think your in-laws are the big problem here. I think the problem is that your girlfriend doesn't have your back. She defended their double standard. She let you suffer through pain to avoid rocking the boat, and now she's calling your boundary childish instead of recognizing that you're just asking for equal treatment. Petty fights come and go, but if your partner consistently chooses peace with others over respect for you, that's not petty, that's just a crack in the foundation. So OP, you gotta forget the couch and ask yourself, are you building something together with her or are you just expected to carry it alone? Your girlfriend should be standing beside you, not gaslighting your boundaries to keep the peace. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Mother Search 3350 says, so your girlfriend is living in your home rent-free, doesn't even pay for her own gas or insurance or even part of the utilities, won't stand up for herself at work so she can make a livable wage, has already been thrown out by her roommate, but is digging in her heels with you and able to assert herself and be confrontational about her parents dictating how you should live your life and in your house, and feels her parents should also be able to do that? Make it make sense. Does she really hate confrontation, or is she just as manipulative as her parents, who are in a mission to fix you? Sounds like you have bigger problems than who sleeps where in that relationship. Quinty Housewood says, I am wondering why your girlfriend didn't tell her parents that if you couldn't stay in her room, then she wasn't staying either, because that's what a supportive partner would do. Maybe the two of you could discuss it. Also, you are adults who already live together. Don't let them become your monsters-in-law. You don't need that. And Ramsey5 says, 1. What does your girlfriend bring to the relationship? It sounds like she's content to slug away underpaid while you take on the burden of most of the finances. That seems inadequate unless she takes more of a burden in the home. 2. Regarding sleeping on the couch at their house, I understand it is their house and many religious people do not allow unmarried couples to stay in the same room overnight. How is that your girlfriend didn't already know this? She should have discussed it with you in advance. Many couples opt for a hotel room close by, so they aren't in any conflict in these situations. Do you really have a medical condition that made it so painful you couldn't bear it? And if so, then it seems your girlfriend could not care less about your comfort. Why was she mad you didn't want to sleep on the couch with a medical condition? And 3, could it be that your girlfriend is hoping for this situation? Her parents' position and her agreement with it will convince you to propose? And Opie responds, she pays half of our groceries, but that's it. Everything else I pay for. I do the majority of the chores as well, since she is usually studying when I'm off work. But I would say we are equal on laundry duties. I do the rest of cleaning, dishes, etc. though. 2, she never had a serious relationship prior to me, just an on-off relationship in high school, so I assume she never invited anyone to stay over before. It would have been nice to know earlier if possible, since driving over there was incredibly hard on my back. But I did have no idea till that very moment, and I found out later that her older sister and their boyfriend are also told to sleep in different rooms, so they as well just never sleep over. I do really have a medical condition. As a child, I had minor scoliosis, just as did my father, that was fixed non-surgically, but later on and through growing taller at such a rate has led to a lot of lifelong pain. The rapid growth of my spine led to, unknowingly at the time to me, very higher risked injury. I used to play rugby at the time, which led to me being injured and having many issues with stability and pain as I continued to grow. It's not a self-diagnose, it's been a lifelong of doctor visits and adjustments, etc. She wasn't mad I did not want to sleep on the couch. She was mad that I already had made it too big of a deal for not agreeing and keeping my mouth shut. And if I got a hotel, then I would be making it even bigger of a deal. And 3, possibly her parents got married within 6 months of meeting each other. They firmly believe that we have no reason being together any longer than if we are not married. They have made a lot of offhand comments about such, but never directly at us. For example, "I'm so glad we got married when we did. Waiting any longer would have been stupid," and things like that. But my girlfriend and I agreed to that we wouldn't discuss marriage till she finished her degree and was in a more stable job. Alright, so the community is also not focusing so much on what the parents said or did, but most on that the girlfriend did not stand up for OP. So now, let's move on to the first of 2 updates to see what happened next. Hey, it's been 20 days and I read the comments and it helped me realize from an outside point of view that I was 110% being a petty a-hole. I already sort of knew that, but hearing people with no connection to us confirm, it helped open my eyes. I pulled my girlfriend aside to the next day of my post and apologized. Admittedly, I was being childish, petty, and a-hole, and that I wasn't acting my age. I was more like acting a toddler not sharing toys. She agreed and laughed at my analogy and forgave me as long as I called her parents, which was my next plan anyways. I called her parents, said roughly the same thing, and they agreed, did not laugh, and told me that they will find another date in the future and reschedule staying with us, which I told them sounded great, and we hung up. All was well, but the comments and some private messages helped me realize as well that my girlfriend's not taking initiative was something I needed to seriously talk to her about and stop letting go if I planned on marrying her. I thought of how to say everything I wanted to, etc, etc, and a day or 2 later I decided to talk to her. I told her how much I love her, the person she is, and brought up many things she brings to our relationship to start things out. I then brought up how if we are going to work more in a healthy manner as we get more serious and conjoined, things do need to be more equal between us. So I wanted to work on a compromise since I pay for everything except 50-50 groceries. I do the majority of the cooking and cleaning, etc, as you all know. She got quite upset at this and was trying to say she doesn't have value in our relationship, but I tried to reassure her, and the conversation sort of ended there. I stuck my ground, and 2 days later I brought it up again once the dust settled, and while the conversation was rocky, we worked on a compromise. She will ask her boss about the raise she deserves. We'll begin doing more of the cooking and cleaning, not more than before, but more than me. I asked her also if she would talk to her parents about the whole trying to convert me thing, and well, baby steps, not gonna happen yet. Anyways, why I still need advice as well. Since we had that last conversation, I thought things would be better, but she's been cold. She's been only cooking really quick meals, like frozen stuff, mac and cheese, etc. And I tried talking to her about it and that I'd be happy to teach her the stuff I'd make for us, but she always says, if you don't like it, make us stuff you do, which is fair, but I know she's as good of a cook as me. I tried talking to her if things are stressing her out, she declines. I tried asking if anything's wrong, she declines, etc, etc. She's been cold. Our sex life took a nosedive from once every 2 days, only twice since my last post. I tried feeding into her love languages. She likes words of affirmation a lot, so I've been complimenting her extra and reassuring her, but she seems uninterested. I even tried asking her if I explained anything badly or said the wrong thing about the conversations above, and she says no. What can I do to make her feel happier? She barely even greets me when I come home now. OP's in-post update. I am currently deciding to do 2 things as comments have suggested. A. Spend a week doing everything for myself, by myself. Watch what I please, make just my own food, and finally take the classes I have been waiting for her to agree to. Pottery, baking, etc. and just do my own thing and see how she treats it. My main fear being that she will just see this as petty and that I'm doing the same thing as I almost did to her parents in my last post. Or B, try and talk to her one more time about all of this, which most likely she won't be receptive to. I obviously fear she will break up with me for that, but if she does, it's probably for the best. Alright, even though OP is really trying to do his best here, his relationship hasn't gotten any better. So let's move on to the final update to see how this story ends. Hey everyone, it's been nearly 3 weeks since my last post and I really appreciate everyone's advice. It helped me realize that things need to change or need to end. The way she has been treating me was not okay and that I was essentially a doormat. It's hard to tell these things when you're with someone for years and from my point of view, when you really want it to work. Now, I did as I said in my post update. Some people were suggesting, what if you did what you pleased and led her to her own devices? How would she react? So that is what I attempted. On Monday, I decided to work up early for work and make my own breakfast. By the time she got up, I was nearly done eating. She questioned why I made my own, and I told her, you told me if I didn't like what you made, make something myself. She asked why I hadn't made her some, and I told her she can make her own. We sort of left it at that. For the next couple days, I watched what I felt like when I felt like. I purchased a class to make pottery without even telling her, stopped asking her if she wanted to do stuff with me, and made my own meals myself. After the first day, she stopped really asking me anything and just didn't care as I was on my own. It truly felt like I just had a roommate that I shared a bed with. It sucked a lot. But I was hoping it would show her how I felt. After about a work week of doing this, I was at my limit and couldn't really take it anymore. Neither could she apparently, since she was starting to make comments again. We were growing more distant and we started arguing for most of our conversations. On Saturday, I prepared to sit down and talk to her one final time about everything. I woke up early and made my own breakfast, and as soon as she came into our kitchen, she went off on me, yelling at me if I don't love her and if I'm cheating on her, how crappy of a boyfriend I've been, etc. I kind of just sat there and took it. I wasn't even done my damn breakfast. I sort of ignored her entire crash out on me, and I'm not sure if it calmed her or made it last longer, honestly. But once she was done, I told her we needed to talk and I'd tell her everything. And I think she thought I was going to admit I cheated or something since she looked livid. I firstly told her I wasn't cheating and never would. Then I brought up how she had made me feel for a long time now, how much she has learned to expect out of me, and that I truly do love her and she might love me, but it no longer feels like she cares. I also spoke about how her parents aren't going to convert me, how her not letting me discuss all this with her before was wrong, etc. This evolved once again into another fight, but it wasn't too bad, kind of just going back and forth for a while. We calmed down and I told her it's best she left and we had some space. I felt kinda sick to my stomach doing that. I probably have an issue giving up on things, but whatever. She tried to tell me I was stupid and how a decision like that would be horrible for me, how no one would love me the way I expected to be loved or treat me the way I think I should be treated, and no woman would want to be with the man she has to nurture like a child. I tried telling her it was just for some space and to not insult me, but she didn't seem to listen, so I repeated to please leave. She asked where would she go. I told her to just go, and if she needs money for a hotel or anything, to just let me know. She left somewhere, I guess, and didn't request any money. She texted me a couple times throughout the night on that Saturday and I ignored it. Till nighttime, I told her I'd pack all her stuff and she can come tomorrow, and I turned my phone back on Do Not Disturb. Most of her messages were just pointless insults. I woke up early on the Sunday and packed things really quickly, lol, like I had to move and my landlord would be here in 20 minutes. She didn't come till the afternoon, and when she did, she said she was shocked I actually packed things up, and if I was really serious about being this stupid and throwing it all away, and I said yes. Honestly, I think her just believing we were breaking up right now made it easier. I kinda just rolled with it. I did tell her I want to still talk and see if she can see where it went wrong. This obviously turned into another fight, but I just told her to get her stuff and leave. She stormed out, slammed the door and left. There were still a couple things, I couldn't pack everything, and I called a buddy of mine and asked him to stay at mine for a week and he said sure. She came over the next couple days. The first day, she tried insulting me again, saying I needed my buddy to keep me safe and crap. But after that, it was just silent when she came to collect her things. By the time it was last week's end, it was really quiet. My buddy left after she got the last of their things. My house was quiet. I kinda hated it. We weren't really texting, but for some reason I decided to call her. She picked up. I asked her why things got like this. She said she didn't know and was sorry. She apologized for everything and said she wished she was better, and I said I wished I was too. She asked if she could come home eventually, and I told her I'd think about it. So I thought about it. I read my posts again, I read all your comments again, and I decided no. So I called her up and told her that it's best we end this for good. All she said was, "Are you serious?" I said yes, and immediately hung up. She blew up my phone with a ton of calls and texts, but I put it on Do Not Disturb. Last Saturday, her parents even texted me that I was horrible and a bunch of other things. Since then, it's been quiet for the last week. I don't know who she's staying with, where she went, who she came with to collect her stuff, or was driving her. I have tried not to think about it. I still have a lot of unanswered questions, and I'm sorry I can't give them to y'all. So yeah. It's been officially like almost a week without contact. There was probably times she could have caught me and convinced me to stay, but she kind of ended it herself in my mind. Well, OP, regardless of how it played out, you are out of that relationship so you can focus on the future. So on that note, here's wishing you the best, OP. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now let's finish the video with a really quick mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Stardust Frost. HR said, "We can't make exceptions, so I took all my PTO at once." My manager comes in loud, talking about structure and consistency. Suddenly, no work from home, no flex hours, no swapping PTO. I asked to move 2 days. My cousin's wedding. She just goes, "Sorry, we can't make exceptions to anyone, it wouldn't be fair." Alright then. I put in a request for all 23 of my unused PTO days. Straight through end of quarter. No overlap, no coverage. It got approved in like 10 minutes? Lol, okay. Couple days later, she's in full panic mode. "Wait, who's handling your workload?" "I don't know. I assumed you had a plan. No exceptions, right?" She had to cover me and deal with fallout. Stuff piled up. Clients got pissy. 2 people quit. I came back to a new HR memo. Managers can now approve flexible PTO on a case-by-case basis. Turns out, fair looks different when you're the one getting screwed. Wow, OP, well played. What a good lesson to learn for your new manager. Thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.